Okay, I think it's about time for us to talk about it. Today we're going to talk about the Sony FX2. So in South Africa, we don't always get like a first-hand opportunity to get our hands on gear when they come out, especially when the US and the European guys get their hands on new gear. So when an opportunity arises where you can have your hands on the FX2, I took that opportunity. In fact, I went to 2 different events where the FX2 was on display, and I got a couple of things to say, and to be honest with you, it's really not that bad. So we're going to talk about it in today's video, if I can find better lighting. So we're at the Kyalami race circuit, and I'm just going to check out a lot of stuff. I don't have anything planned specifically. Fujifilm is here. I got to see the GFX 100, beautiful camera, and I'm also going to check like all of the other installations that's happening here. Also, I heard that the FX2 is here, so I'm going to have a hands-on of that camera. So cool, let's go. I mean, come on, let's talk about it. Is the Sony FX2 considered to be the bad boy camera of the camera world? Initially, when the camera came out, it was hated by so many people, especially for those that had been waiting for that FX3 Mark II. What I've noticed about this one is that it actually has a much deeper grip than the FX3 and the FX3, which I think in the hand feels a lot more sturdier than what it would be if you compared to those other 2. Still a lot of space there. Well, for my small hands. Why was this camera made?
I'm not part of the technical team, but just tell me this isn't fun thinking of shoots like this.
So why is this thing not like detachable?
I don't know, but why would you want to have a detachable?
No, I'm just joking. I know there's lots of talkability about this camera. I'm obviously pro whatever.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the FX2 can be the ideal camera for someone out there. It's not for everybody, So I know that the RX1R Mark III has dominated, a lot of the space, especially on YouTube at this point in time. So talking about the FX2 isn't as relevant because that has obviously taken the internet by storm. But there's a lot to obviously say about the FX2, who this camera's for. But I mean, it has a lot of the same internals as the A7 IV, the A7C II at a really high price. It's the first FX camera that has the AI autofocus chip in it. So there's a lot of benefits when it comes to using that camera in the correct setting. But I mean, the A7 IV is a fantastic camera, so I would expect this camera to perform well. I'm on my way to Gear Check, the Sony Gear Check out in Pretoria, and they have the brand new FX2 there. This is the first unit in South Africa, so I'm super stoked to be like one of the first out in South Africa to get my hands on the FX2.
For those of you who's not aware, same sensor, it was very similar sensor to the A7 IV. So what that means is you get a downsampled 7K image on your 4K. So out of all of our full frame sensors, that in theory and in practice as well gives you the best looking image.
So where does this camera make sense? It makes sense to use the sensor because it matches the Burano and the Venice. It's only one stop below the Burano and the Venice when it comes to dynamic range. And that's not coming from me. That's coming from the product manager at Sony Cine.
But actually, for example, our current FX3 and FX3 and FX30 have done some limitation to work with the Cine Alta. Like for example, I'm working with the DP who is going to shooting a Super 35 format with Burano and Venice, and he needs some crash cam. At the current lineup, we don't have a solution for them, right? Because the FX3, when you use the Super 35 mode, is going to HD,
right?
And when you use FX30 shooting as a Super 35 mode, and it will become kind of lower ISO at the 2300 and doesn't match the dynamic range with the Venus Burano, create a little bit more issue.
Isn't it like 2-stop difference between the 30 and the Burano?
Yes, 30 and the Burano is about 2 stop different, and this camera is only 1 stop.
So it makes it like a compact and cheaper option when you're doing location scouting, right? You can also use it to develop a LUT in pre-production, so it also saves costs from that perspective.
Now, one interesting application for the FX2 is if you're a professional cinematographer, this is a fantastic scout camera. You can shoot S-Log3 photos, so you can directly inject it into your post-workflow pipeline, and so that you can apply the same color you would be on your footage.
So what's so different about this camera? Obviously, we know that the viewfinder is fixed. It's a 4K viewfinder, so you can't detach it. So that does present a little bit of complications when it comes to adding different accessories because of the position of where it is. So you kind of have a little bit of issues when it comes to attaching accessories to the hot shoe. It has the same full frame 7K downsample to 4K sensor as the A7 IV. It's a video first hybrid camera, and that's very important. Even though it has a lot of the same internals as the A7 IV, it's a video first hybrid camera. Although it has a different layout as the other two FX cameras, it is very similar in terms of the body size. Also has vents behind the screen, which you don't see in the FX30 or the FX3, which means that this camera will perform a lot better in harsh conditions. It has the Big 6 menu system, but I know that in a later firmware update later in the year, the FX3 and the FX30 both are going to have that same Big 6 layout that you find in the Venus and the Burano.
You can check the difference. That grip is much more smaller. You can see it there, much smaller grip. The button layout is completely different. You can even see also on the side, FX2 with the 4K viewfinder, completely different button layout. And also this grip is much bigger. This is worth the 50 to 150.
So we're back in the studio. I don't know why, but I was thinking when I was going outside because it was terrible lighting. It's really exciting to talk about this camera because I really find it interesting that obviously there were so many people that were complaining about the FX2 because there's no FX3 Mark III, but it does have an advantage, and that's where the FX3, the FX30 and the FX2 outshine any other camera, even the Lumix cameras that have all the bells and whistles when it comes to anamorphic D-squeeze, open gate, all of that stuff, is that the camera is reliable. You can take it out in any type of conditions, it will not overheat. And that's not something that a lot of its competitors can actually say, because those three cameras, you can take them in any type of weather conditions and those cameras won't overheat. One thing is for sure, even though the FX cameras, they lack a lot when it comes to its competitors and it's probably more expensive than its competitors, it's reliable. And I think a lot of people would rather go for reliability when it comes to that. I mean, yes, it doesn't have internal NDs, but you can screw on an ND. So what I'm trying to say is, obviously, the FX2 is not for everybody, right? It's a camera that I'm not going to buy. At the end of the day, each and every tool that's available has a user that will find benefit in it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to buy the FX2 and they're going to find value in it, and they are going to get performance out of it because it has technology in it that is reliable, that's trustworthy, that works. And that's why the FX2 is really not such a bad camera. Thanks so much for checking out the video. I know this one came a little bit late, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents about the FX2. If you like this kind of content, please consider hitting the subscribe button. But most importantly, also hit the like button, share it to your friends. And what I would love is to hear your opinion. What you have to say. Did I miss a couple of topics, points on this topic? I would love to hear from you. Hit me in the comment section below, and yeah, until I make the next video, thank you so much for indulging me. Have a fantastic day. I know I've got a Red Bull shirt on. It's a Grand Prix weekend. I'm not really a Max Verstappen fan, but I love the shirt. It looks nice. I just love Formula 1 overall. So if you were wondering if I support Max Verstappen, dude is a fantastic driver, but my boy is Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, some useless information.